Hey, it's Ben here. In this quick video, we're going to go over some best practices for you to use AutoNARS and also get some results with it. Now, to get started, all you have to do is first log into the cloud dashboard. And what I'm going to do here is just do a quick example of how to actually set up one of these recurring webinars. And then we're going to go over some tips on how to actually do the webinar or design it and what to put in it so it actually converts and brings sales. So what you want to do first is log into this cloud dashboard. And then you want to go to create new, and this is going to allow you to create your webinar sequence. So we're just going to give it a name here, and then it's going to show down here. And then we can go to edit webinar. And then this is where you're going to create first your sign up settings where they sign up for the webinar. The main setting, the actual webinar that's playing, where they can ask questions, where you put the video that's on replay, and then some extra settings you can do as well. So what you can do here is go through each one of these one by one. And if you ever have a question like what is headline text, what does that mean? You can hover over this question mark where it says enter text to show the headline bar. And in this case, it's the headline that's going to be on the sign up page to sign up for your webinar. Video text, this shows right above your video. And you can go over here to load pre-made webinar. And then you're going to get two done for you webinars already that you can either model after or actually use. I'd recommend, of course, creating your own from scratch with your own unique product. But for example, we can click that, click load webinar settings, and then it's going to automatically load everything for us, including the video code. This is the video that's going to ask people to sign up for the webinar. Like a pre-start image, this would be like a picture of you. We're going to hit continue. And then you're going to fill out the main settings, which is the actual webinar that they get mailed to. So this would be the main video. This is going to have to be a YouTube video that you pre-record and then you upload. And we're going to go over how to do that in a second here. Any redirect URL is going to redirect them after the video is done playing. CTA button, where to go to get the offer. It's probably going to go to either a checkout or maybe a full-length sales page if you do have time to do that. You have something here called simulated attendees. Now, I do recommend putting these in here as if you have a webinar and it shows 0 attendees, then probably people are going to be a little weirded out that no one's on the webinar. It's just them watching it, and maybe they should leave because no one cares. So you can have something like simulated attendees here to show you that maybe some other people are watching the video as well. Now you can also set up questions here that you can email, or people will submit via email. Then you can answer them and respond via email as well. And so you have something here called handout. Now what that does is you can go to this handout section up here, and this can be like a PDF, a cheat sheet, or something that they're going to get along with the webinars that's going on that they can download at a certain time. So you're going to hit continue. And then you're going to enter your mail settings, whether it's Maillit, Aweber, MailChimp, GetResponse. If you don't have one of these, looks like you're going to have to sign up for at least one of them and use just for your webinar automations. And you go ahead and enter any replay information if you want to show replays after it's done, countdown, and then to hit save and exit. And then you have your sign up page, your main webinar page that they get mailed to, and extra settings. And let me show you what this looks like. And then what you can do here is go to get links. And then these are going to be all the links for your different pages. And these are what you're going to include in your marketing campaign. So on your Facebook ads or promotion to your fan page or whatever, this is your initial sign up URL. Then your direct webinar URL, where they're going to go to actually watch the video on replay, is that just take them to this URL. And then you can say, hey, sign up for a webinar at 3 p.m. today on this. And then you set up in your get response, mail at 3 p.m. This link. Then replay URL out, a day after, a day or 2 days after. Then you want to go ahead and start mailing them the replay, which kind of looks like a replay page. And of course, all this is not live. You pre-record a video beforehand, and then you market these out. Now, what days should you use? How much time between each one? Well, probably you want to, the benefits of having this all pre-recorded is that you don't have to set a specific time that you're available. You can say, hey, sign up. You can have a webinar page that says, hey, sign up for a webinar starting in an hour or starting at, 7 p.m. today. And then you don't have to be there. Then you can send an email out saying, hey, at 7 p.m. your webinar's starting. Now, I'd recommend doing it in the evening, as that's when most people will be there, like something like Thursday evening, Tuesday evening. This seems to be the best dates to fill up webinars. So if it were me, I would say if you're running this evergreen and you're just testing it once a week, then start on Thursday or Tuesday evening. Or what you can do is just do this every evening, because technically you don't have to be there, and keep having it broadcasted every time that hour. And if you're going to set up multiple ones of these, then maybe you can have a different webinar that's going on at 6 p.m. But then this one goes on at 7 p.m. Or you can have them go on at the same time if you want. If you're getting better open results. So what you're going to have to do is track your marketing. See how many people are actually attending, how many people are buying, and then whatever dates they're using. You can set this up with Google Analytics if you want, or just do one campaign and see how it goes, and then continue to replicate the results of what's working. Now, as far as actually creating the video, what you want to do here is I'm going to give you some tips in a second here of how to actually write the introduction, value, pitch, all these things that go into actually making a webinar that converts. But what you want to do is set up the slides first, just like a regular webinar. And you're going to want to do that with either Keynote if you have a Mac. This comes with the Mac. If you have PowerPoint, you can use that with Windows. You can use something like OpenOffice to create slides. And then there's some other free editors out there. Of course, Keynote and PowerPoint are probably the best to make actual webinar slides that look nice. You're going to be getting some bonuses as well that you can check out that are for PowerPoint. And if you don't have any Keynote or PowerPoint templates that you like, then there's a bunch of ones that you can always buy, and there's a lot of free ones as well. So what you want to do is create your slides either with like a theme, or these don't have to be works of art, just something that's going to communicate the message. If you have pictures of social proof, make sure to put those in. If you have pictures of the product, put that in. If it's something like a software that you need to demonstrate, then what you can do is just open it up on your computer, and as you're going through the slides, you can exit out of them. So what you do, of course, is you hit play here. So you're going to open it up. It's going to be full screen as you're talking and stuff like that, and presenting. And then if you need to change your software, what you can do is hit exit. It will exit out, and then you switch over to a demonstration of the software, and then reopen this wherever the slide was that you were going through. Now, as far as what actually to put on the pre-recorded video, or the fake webinar, so to speak, what you want to do is record your video, but instead of like a regular sales video, you want to have it as these slides, and break it up into three main parts, meaning that you're going to have an introduction part for your webinar, a value part for the webinar, and then finally a pitch part. So what do I mean by all this? So whenever you start your webinar, what you want to do is give people a reason for watching the video. They get on your webinar, they're watching the video. You need to lead with a big promise of what they're going to get if they stick around. So for example, by the end of this webinar, you're going to get the framework for creating an info product in a week that will make significant sales. And it's important to point out that throughout the webinar, the audience isn't going to remember 90% of what you're saying. You can go into all these detail and give away tricks and tactics and stuff. But what you want to do is make sure that you pick one point that you're going to sell and emphasize it over and over again. So in this case, we're going to do an example where it's how to create info products. And then you want to keep mentioning over and over how they're going to get the framework for creating info products very fast, but still make sales. Now, promise something amazing if they stay until the end. By the end, you're going to know three big things on how to go out and start creating your info products. We're also going to give you the framework that if you're interested in taking more action on how to go about creating a whole business on making these info products. Then you want to introduce yourself and qualify yourself. Now, of course, you want to say your name. Hey, this is Ben. But also you want to qualify yourself, and this is important because people need to know why they should be paying attention, why they should be listening to you, especially if they don't know you and it's from some sort of cold Facebook ads. So this would mean something like, hey, and I've been creating small info products for 3 years now, and it's paying all the bills. Actually, I live off info products. That's why you should be listening to me. So you need to qualify yourself in some way. I'm a 7-figure marketer, New York Times bestseller. Whatever it is, even if it's just, hey, I made $10,000 in a weekend, or I made $2,000 1 month selling info products. Something that proves that they should continue to listen to you and trust you. Also, you want to get them interacting from the start. Now, this is something you probably want to split test and try yourself in some videos and some ones that aren't, because usually always on a live webinar, you want to get people interacting, and it's more natural because you're actually there. Now, on the pre-recorded one, you won't be there, obviously, but you can still try to say, like, oh, hey, let me know where you're from, or in the questions, say yes or no or something like that. You can try to do that. And you'd always want to start to interact and ask people questions, or let them know if they can hear you and things like that. But again, on the pre-recorded video, this is something you'd probably want to split test, maybe even leave out the first time, because it might be weird if they're trying to interact or ask questions, but you're not there because it's just a pre-recorded video. Now, optional, let them know that there's going to be something for sale at the end, and it's okay to let them know this. Let people, they're on the video. At some point, they're going to think that, oh, there's going to be some sort of pitch at the end, because people have been hit with webinars and sales videos over and over. And it's okay to say, hey, yeah, there's going to be something for sale at the end, but if you stick around, you're going to get 3 big key insights on how to create info products that you can take away and start using today. And then if you want the full framework and you're ready to go full time with this, then we're going to have something that's going to help you reach that at the end to give you more information, because we can't cover everything in a 30-minute video or a 60-minute video. So it's okay to kind of pre-sell them and let them know that there's something for sale. So after you've done all this, what you want to do is go to the value section of your video. This is where you're going to clearly define the problem that you're going to solve. So you can say, hey, I know you signed up for this because you thought you're trying to make info products, you're trying to make a living from info products, and it's taking months, or it's taking 6 months just to come up with one. And on this training, we're going to show you how to start getting that down to just a weekend to create your info product. Clearly define, and this kind of going back to this first thing, stick to one main point. Clearly define what it is that they're going to learn and what you're going to solve. Then what you want to do is, after you're done outlining the problem, introduce your first key defining insight about how your method is different, or what you learned that no one else knows that helped you achieve. In this case, it's selling info products that you created in a weekend. Explain why it's important, how you reach this conclusion, how it affects your audience, both positively, if they understand it, and negatively, if they don't grasp it. Give examples of positive things, how it helped you, and then negative things. So an example here would be, product creation is a worthwhile skill. It's hard for most people to do, so they don't do it. Now, the reason they don't do it is they think it will take too long. They don't have the knowledge to be an expert or subject. And if they do create a product, how are they going to get people to buy it? So the key insight could be, hey, I thought about this too. This is my problem. But then I realized that I came up with this formula called 1 problem, 1 solution, 1 sitting. And what I did was create a whole info product under just sitting down for a weekend, coming up with 1 problem to solve, and then making myself write the product that weekend. This is my big key insight, for example. And then you could talk about how it turned out that it seems like you have to spend months creating your info product, but hey, I've come up with this way that you can do it for just a weekend or very quickly. Or a big insight could be how it turns out that you don't have to put months into creating your info product. Then you want to reveal an aha moment you had that related to this key insight. Ideally, it's something that you want to reveal, and then the audience will say, oh, so that's why I haven't been able to do that. Oh, that's something different I haven't thought of, based on that you learned. So a solution could be, for example, info products that are quick. They aren't huge 6-module things, but maybe just a PDF. Well, they're more laser focused on one specific solution, and there's no competition to them. So the result is like it's calling someone's name out from the crowd. And that's how I've been able to quickly create info products that aren't huge, but still have them sell. And then someone in the audience who's watching could say, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, that's true. So it's easier to find your products with this approach, easier to make them faster, and they're already likely to be predisposed to buy your product because it's solving one small issue. Now, another key insight, here's just another example, is, hey, whenever I launched my first product, there was grammar errors in the headline. So maybe some people were thinking, hey, I have to get this perfect, I have to spend months with it. But you can say, like, hey, I did this quick launch. Yeah, there was tons of errors. I could have done things better, but hey, I got it out there and it sold, and it only took a week to start making money. That could be another big insight that they see. Then you want to start revealing any more aha moments and go into any key training that can help educate the prospect on your product and the solution that it's providing. So maybe go into some training about how to outline creating your first info product, or 3 main insights on how they can get started. Something that's going to add value. And you might be thinking, well, why do this training at all? Why can't I just sell people? Well, first, you need to make sure that viewers understand why they need to buy your solution, why it's different from the other info products, and how you have the insight to guide them through this solution and to get the big benefit that they want, which is making money with info products. And you also have to make sure that viewers can trust that you're an expert on this solution, especially if you're selling higher ticket products. Now, if you just talk about how there's a different way and you have this way, but you don't really provide any value or proof that you know how to do it, or you do have this solution, then that's just something that people have to believe, and they have an additional hurdle they have to jump through whenever it comes to asking for their money. So if you give them some value, obviously don't throw away the whole course or whatever it is, but just some value that proves that you're an expert and helps educate them in some way. Well, you're proving that you do know what you're talking about. Now, also, you're also fulfilling that initial promise that you started in the beginning of giving them some free beneficial training. So if your ad said, hey, you're going to learn 3 main things to get your product in sold under a weekend, and get your info course created in under a weekend, this is going to tell people, hey, he's following through his promises. He's talking, or she, if you're he or she, they gave a promise, they fulfilled it. This is someone that I can trust. Also, most viewers who are probably watching your pre-recorded webinar are under attack to buy things all the time, meaning that they're getting hit with reviews, getting hit with other webinars where it's just pitches, and they're not getting a lot of free value training. So this is, again, another way just to keep their attention on you instead of going to Facebook, instead of something else where they're getting some value in exchange for their time spent with you. Now, finally, you want to go through the pitch, and you want to start by ask if this info is helping, and then do what I call an hour-a-day sequence. And it goes like this. Now, would you agree that this hour, or however long, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, however long your training was well spent learning everything that we've covered thus far on the webinar? Now, we can't cover everything you need to know in one measly hour on one measly webinar, obviously. Even if we had a whole day, we wouldn't be able to cover everything you know, nor would it be practical for you. So that's why I'm excited to make you this offer where you can get everything you need to know. And then you're going to start to go into your actual product and what it is. So talk about, hey, we went over some tips. I hope these helped. But if you really want the real solution, well, we have this created and it's to your benefit to buy it. So at this time, you're going to want to go ahead and introduce the name of the product, and then break down everything that they're going to get inside the product. So this means going over all the features, all the modules, what it does, do a demonstration of the software if you need to at this point, if it's software that you're selling. So for example, you can say, hey, so the first session of my info product and the weekend is already waiting in the members area. It's called How to Create a High Quality Info Product in 2 hours or Less. As you go through this coaching, you're going to discover and then list some benefits, how to effortlessly find the perfect product idea that you can easily transform into finished products in 2 hours or less, regardless of whether you're an expert or not. How to create your info product so that you already have committed traffic sources agreed to, sending tons of traffic your way, and go through some main benefits of why they really want to go through this module and what they're going to get. Then you want to go into social proof and testimonials, and these are people who have reviewed the course or who have taken it and had results. Something that's going to prove that, hey, if they buy it, then they're going to get results too. And I don't think I need to go into too much detail on what this is about. Then you want to finally let them know about the theoretical value they can buy it at. Now, this isn't the real value or the price. This is just, theoretically what it would cost. And what you want to do here is, apply some sort of value where it says, module 1, we're going to go over how to create an info product on the weekend. This is valued at $97. Then you're going to get this bonus software that's valued at $9,000, or, whatever it is. And then sum it all up and say, so today, theoretically, this would be worth $10,000, or this would be worth $2,000. But for on this webinar only, or during this week only, you can get it at far less. And then you want to reveal the price, but price anchor it against something. Now that's kind of just like a fancy word for comparing it to something else to make the cost seem less. And a good example of this is price anchoring your product to Starbucks coffee. So for example, if you went your product's like $300, and it turned out that if you bought 1 cup of Starbucks coffee each week, that would equal $300 throughout the year. You can price anchor it and say, so this is the equivalent of a cost of 1 cup of Starbucks coffee each week. So is this having this information and framework to create high-selling info products fast worth about a cup of coffee to you each week? And all of a sudden, it goes from $300 to, hey, it's just like a cup of coffee each week. Can you give up that to have all this? That's what I mean by price anchoring. All right. Then, of course, what you want to do is sum up everything again, what they're getting, highlight some of the testimonials, and then do a call to action, finally asking them to go ahead and purchase it. Go to the main sales page to check that out, and then stay on board to answer any questions that people might be submitting if you're doing that. Now, with some webinar, with the AutoNars, what they can do is submit a question, then you can answer it via email. But if it's totally evergreen and you're not even there, you're on vacation or something, then you can go back and answer the questions later, or not even do the questions thing. Just say, hey, go ahead right now. Bye. If you have a question, we'll follow up with it during the next week or so. If there's something, or you can just take the questions out entirely, or you can have a couple main questions that people are going to ask and have an automated response that will work as well. So I'd probably start with having some sort of FAQ at the end with automated responses. And if something's, they can't answer it, or there's no way to do it, then you can always follow up later and still try to get the sale. So that's how it's going to work. You're going to start recording your screen, open up your template, go ahead and click play. Make it look like you're actually doing this live. Then go into the introduction, introduce yourself, the main problem. Go through the value part, give away some value, reveal your key and haha moments. And then go through all the module, list all the benefits, or go through the product, list all the benefits. Do an hour a day approach, I recommend. Go through testimonials, price anchor, and then try to close them on the offer. And if it's not working, go back through and try this a little bit differently. You might take 2 or 3 recorded videos or webinars to get something to convert, and then read the comments and see what people are asking, what questions there is, and if there's something big that keeps coming up, then go back through and add that to the video, or go or do another video recording of your pre-done webinar from before. So hopefully this gave you some steps to get started with AutoNars and some information on how you should create that video. And I will see you in the next video, and hopefully this helped you out and helped you get started.